Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we are back for another brand new video. And today's brand new video, as you can see, is bringing a smile on this Nasher that hasn't been quite this wide since pretty much the last time we were going in to an international break where we were able to come away with all 3 points and beat Celtic. Well, we've done it again, ladies and gentlemen. This time though, it was against Diet Celtic. And honestly, man, I'm just sitting here and there's just so many emotions in the old noggin. There's happiness, there's joy, there's celebration, ons wanting to happen, but also there is a wee dazzle and a little mixture of relief. And honestly, I haven't felt quite this concoction of emotions since going back to last season after we got beat by St Mirren in the Cup and we went, obviously, versus Motherwell at Ibrox. We went behind in that game, but we managed to rally back, fight tooth and nail and get back into the game and then going ahead and coming away with all 3 points. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I think this game right here, when this season is done and everything's, the final whistles went for the very last time, we will look back on this game right here versus Hibs the same way as we look back to that game versus Motherwell last season. It's the game that we really showed we were champions. And that's why I went ahead and wore the championship kit in today's video, because this is the type of games that makes you champions. And for me, I'm absolutely bouncing as we go away now into an international break and we can welcome back the likes of Ryan Kent, the likes of Ryan Jack, and come back with a tactical tweak that happened in this game that I think is going to set us on a very interesting and happy path coming back from the international break. But there is so much to break down and discuss in this game of football, so without any further ado, let's get in to the old game recap. And by the way, if you are bouncing and as happy as I am, make sure to be helping the old channel out by hitting that like button and subscribing if you're new. We are trying to reach 56k, so any help would genuinely be incredible. But aye, to the old match recap we go. If we saw the starting 11, there was some very interesting changes going in. We obviously had Patterson coming in for Tavernier. We welcomed Connor Golton, who we know isn't 100% fit, and we know he's playing through the pain barrier. So anyone questioning what that lad is because he's not signed a deal yet or anything like that, he doesn't want to be here, doesn't this? Well, he's playing injured, ladies and gentlemen, and he went out there and did that when he didn't need to. That also leads me to another player that was back in the starting 11, and that was your boy John Lundstrom, who to me was absolutely brilliant and only got better as the game went on and is really emerging into a superb player for Rangers. The more he adapts and the more he plays, the better he's actually getting, and that's what you want for your actual signings. And it was actually him that I want to talk about first, because in the first couple of minutes of this game you saw a couple of interesting attacks from Hibs because they're dangerous, they're so fast. We broke all this down in yesterday's preview video. I didn't think we missed much, if I'm honest with you. The game went exactly the way we went ahead and predicted in that game. But something I love for Lundstrom and something I noticed right away is he was willing to go and make that challenge. You know what I mean? Like a Kevin Thompson and Robbie Keane. Soonest done it, obviously, all those years before that. They always had that one player in the middle of the park. Ryan Jack's done it for us most recently and everything like that as well. That was in the middle of the park that would set the tone for the game in terms of, you're not going to skip by me and get nice and easy. On you go, you can go and do so. No, he absolutely nailed Doige about the second minute. Did I just mess up his name there? Probably. But anyway, he nails him, knocks his Doige out, changes his name, whatever, slaps him to one side, and then 60 seconds later he runs right to the other end of the park and absolutely nails Boyle. And I was going, yes, we've finally got someone who's no a nice guy in the middle of the park, and we'll need that. So that's a bit of an old school thing that I did like in the game, but something I didn't like, ladies and gentlemen, is the people that was kind of around them in terms of the right hand side and the left hand side, because once again Rangers are undone by a simple switch of the ball. And I don't know how many times I need to say this, but in the 8th minute, ladies and gentlemen, one switch to the other, there's nobody tracking back, there's no one helping, Barisic gets sucked inside. It's the same story you've heard me say so many times, and I do apologise, I need to sit here and repeat myself, but it's basically the same goal that we've conceded about 6 or 7 times this season. But this time it eventually goes down the right hand side from Cadden after a little bit of a breakdown. Barisic doesn't get out quick enough to do the defending. It's a great ball in by Cadden, I'm taking nothing away from it. It's a brilliant header by Nisbet, but for me it shouldn't be Lundstrom who's 6 yards out needing to do the job of the two centre halves. Balogun and Golton for me has to be in and around that area, making sure nothing comes in. It's very, very sloppy defensively for Rangers, very, very quick counter-attack from Hibs. It's what you're expecting from them, it's what we're not expecting from Rangers, but maybe it should be with the way we're defending lately. But aye, it was not an ideal start, ladies and gentlemen, and Hibs couldn't have asked for anything better. And the game genuinely couldn't have been set up any more perfectly for Hibs at this point, because all they did was start to drop 5-10 yards further back, start to absorb the pressure and start to hit on the counter-attack, trying to hit balls in behind. Very similar to what Dundee was trying versus Rangers last Sunday with balls in behind Balogun curve, and that's what they were trying to do. And you could see their game plan. Soon as they scored, they weren't so attacking with their football, they weren't punishing and piling people forward. It was all absorb and try and hit on a counter-attack, and that really made for a very, very sloppy game of football, because again, Rangers aren't firing on all cylinders. They aren't as sharp as they need to be to hurt teams that's willing to do this. And for the next 22 minutes, it was a lot of and I don't know why I went ahead and made the sounds rather than explain my feelings, but I did, troops. But that's what it was like. It was us getting in dangerous positions, but we were overplaying it, trying to do the Arsenal thing back in the day under Wenger by scoring the perfect goal, and you're just like, just somebody hit it, just somebody hit it. But we do get eventual counter-attacking opportunity, and it's a brilliant ball by our boy Lundstrom. He's so important with this one. It goes out to Morelos, a wee bit combination play. The ball eventually goes out to Joe Aribo, and you know exactly what happens next. The old red card comes out, and I'm sure that's what a lot of conspiracy theorists and people feeling sorry for themselves right now is going to be diving in and saying, the refs helping Rangers, the refs helping Rangers. But I'm just going to say, if you look at that of a lunging challenge over the top of the ball, connecting with a player, if you don't think that is a red card, especially these days with the lunging and out of control challenges that we've seen against every team in the league, if that isn't a red card for you, we can't have a footballing conversation. Just get into the comment section, write how sorry you feel for yourself, write about referees, and then on you trot, and we'll sit here where it's left of us and we'll talk about football, because that right there is a red card every day of the week. And I think by this point, obviously the red card and everything had got the crowd up and the players had started to get in a wee bit, so we did create another opportunity, our only second of the game, just a couple of minutes after that, after a wonderful delivery. And I'm pretty sure this one's Hadji. It kind of drifts it into the back post. Morelos is up there, but unfortunately can't do what Nisbet done and take his one-headed opportunity just yet. It usually requires Morelos a couple, but you know he's going to get in and amongst it, and this one unfortunately gets blazed over the bar, and that was it for the rest of the half. Despite a couple of minutes where Hibs were obviously sorting things out at the back and everything, we looked to create a couple of opportunities. The last 10 minutes of the first half was just the exact same as it was before Hibs got anybody sent off. They were playing 5 at the back, they had a lot of people going back, and it was just long balls for ball. Like, honestly, not much actually changed. And you know, son, with our track history about playing teams with down to 10 men, I was absolutely bricking it in this game, because I was like, oh no, they're just going to sit all the way back now and hit long balls. It's just going to be like that for the full game. None is going to change for them. But you know, son, ladies and gentlemen, despite the frustration and the anger and everything being there and me wanting changes, because I thought if Tavernier's fit enough to make it to the bench, then he should be fit enough to go ahead and be able to play in the second half, because again, you want your skipper on the park, you want your best set piece taker in there in case it is going to require a corner or anything like that. So I was wanting a couple of changes, but I never ever thought to myself that the game was going to be done and dusted, because there was an importance about this game, and I think you could tell that by Gerrard's reaction at the end of the game, celebrating with the crowd and everything. There was something different about this game that wasn't the same as when we drew with Motherwell or anything like that. I always thought we would change things up and roll the dice a different way, and that's why I tweeted this out at half time, that we were going to come back and win 2-1, and I went ahead and said Morelos and Roof will be the goal scorers in the game, because I knew for a fact Roof would be on in the second half and things would be changing in terms of the style of play, because this rigid 4-3-3 isn't working anymore. It just isn't. There's no chance creation, there's nothing, it's not working. And in this game I had a feeling there'd be a roll of the dice and we would see the two at the top at some point. I kind of touched on that in yesterday's video, and it came into fruition in the second half. Gerrard's got to be given credit for that, because Kamal Roof came in and he didn't go out to the right hand side. Morelos didn't go out to the right hand side. No, it was 2 up top, and it was a formation that we did play a couple of times last season, especially in the 4-1 win versus Celtic, of course, with Ryan Kent kind of had that freedom role. Well, that was Hadji's role, kind of. We went Roof and Morelos very close to each other, and we just had bodies in the box. So with the 557 crosses we put in the game, there's more than one striker on the park to try and get into it. And that's how we came back into this game of football after Nathan Patterson is on the right hand side again. It gets supplied the ball by our boy Hadji. And now I don't know if Patterson's aiming for Morelos here or what, but this is what I love about Kamal Roof, especially when he's in the central areas. He done this versus Celtic in that 4-1 win as well. He's just got this ability to go in the right place at the right time, because Patterson just asks a question, he puts it in a very, very dangerous area, and Kamaru gambles that the ball's going to be in and amongst it, and it's a fantastic header, fantastic ball, and that is what happens when you've got more than one striker in the mixer. We're back in the game, and it's well and truly game on now, especially with the two up top, and gaps starting to be created. Remember when I made those sound effects earlier on in today's video? Well, there was a lot of that because we were getting shots off, but to be fair to Hibs, fantastic block, people throwing their bodies on the line. They were making it very, very difficult. It was basically like playing Motherwell with the amount of people they had at the back line, but we kept asking the question, we never lost our head, and again we were playing much more quickly than we have been over the last couple of games. So we're going to jump right to the 72nd minute of this game where the next major opportunity happened in the game, and surprise, surprise, it starts with our boy Lundstrom, who by this point, by the way, Glenn Kamara had been withdrawn from the game, obviously, to bring on Kamaru. So there was only one midfielder playing for us, and that was Lundstrom, and I thought he'd done that role absolutely perfectly, and he's vital in this one. He drills the ball out to Hadji, one of the few times we passed to him when he was wide open, by the way. I don't know what was going on with him and Patterson, but they just had their wires crossed, because Patterson had him wide open a couple of times, but the wee man was feeling good after his cross and his assist. Maybe he thought it was going to be his day, but this time we do get the ball to him, and then Hadji cuts inside, fake shots, and he unleashes a rifled effort that I genuinely thought was going to be a goal, but again, full credit to the Hibs goalie, what's his name, Macy. They always talk about his height, and I think it definitely played an advantage here because he somehow gets this rocket shot, and I'm going, oh, didn't let it be one of the days. But thankfully we didn't have to linger on that thought for very long, because just a couple minutes after that, around about the 78th minute, we get a flashback of good feelings. And that is, of course, European Thursdays, because this is what used to happen, ladies and gentlemen. Barisic cross, Morelos header. It's iconic, ladies and gentlemen. It's like the Pink Ranger and having a crush. It just happens like that, and it's a wonderful ball by our boy Barisic. He gets down the left hand side. It's everything you know that man's got in his left footed locker, and Morelos has his third headed opportunity by this point, but he makes no mistake with this one, despite that Frankenstein-esque goalkeeper almost getting there again, by the way. But it's thankfully buried too well from Alfredo Morelos. That's 2-1 to Rangers. The comeback has been done, and that was a moment that we all needed to lift us going into a 2-week international break, ladies and gentlemen. You know, son, the way that goal unfolded and the resulting rest of the game, I saw Barisic really rise, because up to that point, every cross he'd done was basically a goal kick for Hibs, but it just shows you what a conference player he is, because as soon as he has that moment and one of those crosses works and he gets it, he almost puts his chest out, his shoulders come down like that, and he's just a different player when he's confident, and he's got an assist because he put in a couple of very good defensive blocks, one of them against Boyle originally when he's trying to nip in behind him. Fantastic defending. Son, I've not said about Barisic for a very long time, but again, he's got the confidence now, and then a couple of minutes after that, Boyle's actually in behind after Balogun gets the kind of misjudges the ball, it goes over his head, and it looks like Boyle's going to be away, but Barisic just goes, no, and pulls him back and accepts the yellow card, troops. He's that confident, he's even taken a professional foul, because how many times have we seen us be too nice and let teams run at us? But I just love little things like that. He really rose to the occasion after his goal, and he definitely, his assist, sorry, and he started to show what he's all about. And again, the rest of the game never had a major opportunity or a major chance for Hibs, and I take a lot of pride in that, and I take a lot of pride in what Stephen Davis was able to do, because that for me shows there's still a role in this club for Stephen Davis, because to me, and again I'm going to get hate for this, but Lundstrom now is in that starting 11 in that role for me all damn day. It's the power, it's the pace, it's the aggression and everything like that. That's his role now, unfortunately, for my boy Davis. But I'd still be bringing Davis on with 15, 20, 30 minutes to go every game, because he just pulled the strings, calmed everybody down. The second he came on the park, what was a frantic last 15 minutes became very relaxed. Let's get into the corner. He's kind of orchestrating the team, and that is his role now, to make sure we get 3 points. I thought he was fantastic. But aye, that was the game recap right there in itself. It finished Rangers 2, Hibs 1. It's always a fireworks display. It's always a hard game, but it only matters what the scoreline is at the end of it, and that is 3 points to Rangers, and that is absolutely massive. And it showed you with Gerrard's celebrations and him geeing up the crowd and everything like that. He knew what this win meant versus a very, very very good Hibs side, and I'm going to be sleeping tonight knowing 3 points is back home. This will be the game that I think we'll look back at and say that is when we showed that we were going to be champions again. But I am absolutely delighted. I'm knackered, if I'm honest with you. The smile is massive. My lips are sore. So I'm just going to finish up today's video saying I am very, very happy with that. If I was to pick a man of the match overall, Lundstrom, just overall, I thought he was brilliant. But if there was one player that changed the game completely, it was a boy, Kamal Roof. So that's it. I'm officially done and dusted, ladies and gentlemen. What did you think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down there in the old comment section below. But until next time, I've been TJ Over 92. Take care of yourselves. All the best and bye-bye.